Hello, back again for episode 2 of David's, I think it's archival collection, right? My archival pieces. And I'm here again to share with you another work. It's the Japan Baseball Karuta Menko set. This is a partial set here. It's 21 out of, I believe, the 42 picture cards from JK31, which is the Japanese vintage baseball card catalog, which is the Karuta Games set 31. And this is from 1950. It's called the Middle School Friend set. From what I understand, it's very, very difficult to find information on these pieces. Very difficult. But as you can see here, these are some very kind of high color images, right? There's 21 different playing cards that come with. These are essentially, from what I understand, they're kind of poems, right? And what happens is this is made for children, right? So they would read the poem on the card, and the first person to pick up the right card that matches with that poem wins, right? From what I understand, this is it's still something I'm learning about. My kind of primary field, I like the kind of pre-war 50s era baseball. But again, right? Yeah, this is 1950 from Japan. And from what I understand, these are all generic figures, right? Figurations of these players, and I really, really love this. Kind of zooming in on it a little bit, this kind of cartoony watercolor almost. You can see the colors bleeding between the outlines of the cards. Comic book style stock. This kind of reminds me of the Japanese early mid-century cards are fantastic. A lot of that, it reminds me a little bit of the Gaudi set, honestly, and the 30s stuff from the US. I think you can see the shared influence. There's a lot of really great kind of cartoon comic book style, kind of anime style cards coming out of Japan from this period of time. And this set, right, this is a partial set of 21 cards. You see all of these different kind of baseball scenes, right? They're cheering on the team or they're sliding into home plate. Um, this is from the Japanese Giants team. I really love the playfulness of these cards and the really bold color and the coloring here. You can see the kind of nuanced figuration depiction. It's simultaneously very casual. Kind of reminds me a little of the early 20s strip cards in the US. It's simultaneously very casual, but the art style is also very captivating and nuanced. So you have these 21 picture cards with the accompanying 21 poem pieces, right, to play the game. This is half the set. I believe there's actually a Babe Ruth in this set as well in JK31. That one I think tends to go for like a couple $100. Not too expensive. These Japanese Ruths, some of them can get to a couple thousand. But here you go. You can see right another kind of caricatures, right, that are on the envelope that's holding these cards. You get kind of a closer look at these poem cards here. But this is really great. This is one of the things that I thought was fantastic. It actually comes with the original carrying case, and I think on here is actually depicted one of the star players from the time. And you have this kind of picture uh, quality. It almost reminds me of there's a couple from the early 1900s that depict stadiums with players and fans in the stands, and you can see the signage. Really, really, really beautiful and kind of just like simultaneously casual and a great piece and work of art. This is detailing the set that it comes from in the year, from what I can discern. Right, I was using some AI to do some translation and things like that, and you can see here it's the carrying case for the cards themselves. These the Menko Karuta cards, they it's apparently a huge thing in Japan, from what I understand. Right, again, I'm not the resident expert on this, but the Karuta cards, it's a form of a game that was brought to Japan by Spain in like the 1600s, and it actually became a very crucial part of Japanese baseball cards. And I really wanted to just capture an essence of the way that the game is represented. And I find that the best way, from what I could uh, pull together, at least in my conceptualization of it, would be these kind of generic cards, right? I wasn't looking for any specific players. There's a couple that I'm kind of looking at, and I'm looking at certain sets, a lot from the JKs, actually, the Karuta card sets. The playing card style depiction, I think, is really interesting. Um, but this kind of generic, and I actually think, I mean, obviously, some of these are based off of you have the Giants here, and there's a kind of can almost read the depiction of the other team that's there, and then you have a specific number here, so you can see that some of them are kind of based off of certain caricatures. I'm sure here this is a certain stadium that's being based off of there. But these are just really, really beautiful, kind of classical pop art style cartoon comic strip almost. I found some really interesting ones that are that similar vibe, and I'm going to withhold on sharing them lest I pick them up, and then share them later. But for now, this is really the one I wanted to zoom in on, and I believe these caricatures here, these symbols are the different positions that are being implied in each of these kind of serials. I've never seen anything like this. Very fascinating. Apparently, the rarity scale for this set is R4. So I mean, these cards are in really solid condition. It's not gem mint 10, right, by any means, but for a 50s partial set here of playing cards that were used for children, these have been incredibly well kept. You can see a little bit of writing here and there on some of the poem cards themselves, but they're R4 rarity, from what I understand from the dealer, from the collector who sold these to me. And these are, what is it on the R4? That's one step down from the highest degree of scarcity for a set. So these are very, very uncommon from what I understand. There's no information available on them. The few Japanese catalogs I've been able to access online that go in depth into vintage and the different kinds of styles of vintage, very, very similar cataloging process actually to the way that American vintage is cataloged. I think the Burdick system. Can't find this one, JK31. If people have more information on it, it'd definitely be interesting. From what I understand, it was actually kind of like affiliated with a school or a set of schools. It's like a university system called the Big Six, and they have a fair amount of cards affiliated with them. But I don't think this is entirely that. I did some translating of this writing. I don't feel that it needs to be so gone into in depth. So I'm actually getting a phone call, so this is a great time to end this. I hope you like this second episode.